I'm Scott Garrison, Executive Director at the Midwest Collaborative for Library Services, a multi-type library consortium serving over 650 member libraries in Indiana and Michigan, including several CNI members. On behalf of the Project ReShare Steering Committee, I thank CNI for the opportunity to give this short update on what we believe is truly a much-needed new approach to resource sharing. I also thank my collaborators on this update. Tim McGeary, Associate University Librarian for Digital Strategies and Technology at Duke University Libraries, and Sebastian Hammer, Founder and President of Index Data. Sebastian, Tim, and I all serve on the Project ReShare Steering Committee, and our organizations are Project ReShare founding members. By 2016, the Big Ten Academic Alliance, among others, had noted that resource sharing is too fragmented, with too many services, options, and steps for users to navigate. Access and delivery have been built in terms of moving and tracking items rather than user experience. And while libraries across the country move toward collective collections, systems and workflows don't integrate or interoperate well enough to move items between consortia in an effective way. Continuing library software industry merger and acquisition activity has led to ever-increasing market consolidation and less choice for libraries and the consortia who serve them, including for resource sharing software. In 2018, a group of academic libraries, consortia, and software developers founded Project ReShare as a new approach to library resource sharing that supports the research lifecycle from discovery through fulfillment. It is open source, community-owned and driven, sustainable, highly scalable, and most importantly, user-centered. Project ReShare is about an engaged and transparent community making change and improving service through open, modular, standards-based, and responsive software. The project's initial focus is on designing tools to facilitate reciprocal borrowing agreements within library consortia, including a shared index, request management system, and workflows for unmediated borrowing. Project ReShare members to date include a growing group of academic libraries and consortia who have made financial and in-kind contributions totaling over $300,000 so far, as well as index data and knowledge integration, who are leading software development. Project ReShare is affiliated with the Open Library Foundation. ReShare's Founding Members Program provides a direct path to participating in the project for a modest member fee starting at $1,500 per year. Founding members have a voice in governance and software development and contribute a variety of key staff expertise. Certified service providers offer hosting, implementation, and support services for consortia that adopt the ReShare platform. Index Data became the first ReShare certified service provider in 2019. The steering committee provides comprehensive oversight for the ReShare community and is responsible for setting the strategic roadmap, arbitrating resource allocation and commitment, and managing risk and funding. The product management team has primary responsibility for the internal activities of building the software, managing scope and development priorities at the feature level, guiding developers, choosing subject matter experts, and promoting a cohesive and transparent working environment for project participants. The subject matter experts team is comprised of practitioners and member organizations with deep workflow experience and knowledge. They collaborate closely with the product management team and the developers, including for user experience. The community engagement team works to organize and mobilize the ReShare community through a number of functions, including new member onboarding, supporting a leadership pipeline, and coordinating with other groups to surface community needs and seek collaborators. The communication team is responsible for developing and implementing a strategy for communicating with libraries, consortia, vendors, and developers about Project ReShare. It has representatives from each of the other functional teams. Project ReShare is really about openness to ideas and approaches within the groups I've described and the developers and UX designers. Sebastian has called our effort development through dialogue. We don't say, just see the documentation. Resource sharing systems currently send users back and forth between systems a lot. For example, if a library is a member of multiple consortia. From day one, we decided to put the user at the center. Software development started with what the user should experience when they find an item and want to request it from another library, and what the requesting and supplying library staff should experience in the transaction. Philip Jacobson, CEO of UX firm Samhang, built a very clean and simple set of interface prototypes which the subject matter experts and product management teams vetted before developers wrote any code. This process makes sure each step is understood, so working prototypes and software can flow from shared understanding. ReShare is built on the same set of tools Folio uses, and some of the same people, including the teams at Index Data and Knowledge Integration, are working on both Folio and ReShare. ReShare doesn't require libraries to run Folio, but will integrate with it. ReShare is like Folio in that it has a collectively owned product management process. It is based on a microservices architecture with fine-grained services and lightweight protocols. It is built as a set of apps that function on a platform for the various interlibrary loan workflows libraries use, for example, submitting and processing requests, creating pull slips, and packing shipments. Libraries can choose which parts they want to use. A library could also choose to build their own apps to optimize particular workflows. ReShare is a peer-to-peer system of nodes with a shared central index rather than a central broker. Nodes exchange messages directly with each other, for example, through a consortium, based on the ISO 18626-2017 standard that specifies the transactions between libraries or libraries and other agencies to handle requests for library items and the following exchange of messages. It uses NSIP to create temporary records in a library management system and Z39.50 to check item status. ReShare can sit beside a library management system that does not have resource sharing functionality built in, or it could be incorporated into a standards compliant system that supports APIs. The system is not standalone. Rather, it uses a central index of records that a library's discovery tool of choice, such as ViewFind, can harvest. With ReShare, discovery and delivery are split apart but integrated using current standards. Libraries choose their own discovery system, and ReShare delivers fulfillment that is as seamless as possible for the user. An alpha release focused on returnable items came just 15 months after Project ReShare's inception in fall 2019. Following continuing work on a variety of functionality and a well-attended town hall meeting at ALA Midwinter in Philadelphia, the community finished a beta version that Kristen Wilson, ReShare's product coordinator, demonstrated in May. You may find the video on YouTube. Kristen demoed how a patron discovers an item to request and how the transaction works behind the scenes between a requesting library and a supplying library. She showed how easy it is for a library to add and subtract pickup locations to a drop-down list the patron sees by tagging them in a directory in the staff view. She also showed the audit trail for a request as it moves from one state to another, i.e., from validated to supplier identified, to request sent, and so on, and how staff may view that audit trail in a detail view for a request. She covered ReShare's ratio-ranked lending string feature that is a major step toward load balancing to ensure that no one library is overloaded with requests. Kristen also demonstrated examples of how ReShare uses ISO 18626 for its cancel request and loan condition functions, and how an autoresponder can be configured to send automatic messages. ISO 18626 allows a note to be sent along with a message between requester and supplier, and ReShare stores all of those messages in a log that appear to staff as a chat window. Kristen showed how a supplier could send a note to a requester and how that note appears in the chat. She showed how ReShare uses an NSIP checkout item message to check an item out to an ILL process in the LMS and mark it unavailable, and also how ReShare uses a Z39.50 query to identify whether an item is available to lend and respond automatically, either if the item is on the shelf or the request needs to move on to the next possible supplier. Kristen also showed the beta's new bulk processing function that allows a library to pick an action for a series of items and scan them so the action takes place. The next release will be a 1.0 minimum viable product this summer that the PALSI consortium, which includes ReShare member libraries Lehigh, Millersville, and Penn, will pilot. In addition to continuing improvements in labeling items as lendable through the record harvesting process, bulk processing, search and filter options, and progress toward pull slip notification, we are also working on new major functionality for controlled digital lending, load balancing, multi-type consortium support, which presents a rich set of use cases, and non-returnables. Members also plan to do thorough accessibility testing. Project ReShare has a roadmap with quarterly milestones and an agile development process. Each new function being planned has a detailed functional overview document with a workflow diagram and a set of epics, each of which has a list of features and requirements. You can learn more about Project ReShare and get involved at our website, projectreshare.org. We invite developers, domain experts, funders, and pilot sites to get in touch with us and join our effort to help build the future of resource sharing with the user at the center. Presentation videos from the 2019 Charleston Conference, the April 2019 Folio Forum, ACERL, and multi-consortia meetings, as well as Kristen's concise 26-minute beta demo are available on Vimeo and YouTube. You can also find more details in Steering Committee Chair Jill Morris's and Kristen Wilson's article in the February 2020 issue of the Serials Librarian from their NASEG 2019 presentation. Thanks for watching this CNI 2020 Spring Meeting short update, and we hope to see you become part of the Project ReShare community.